and this is going to be an interview conducted in part by Los Altos Journal. So our first question for you will be, how do you deal with the busy schedule of teaching your class, coaching soccer, and advising Renaissance?
Well, luckily, everything sort of has its place and its time. With the 6 periods of the day, I teach 4, and then I have Renaissance 1, and then with my 6th period, I coach soccer. So everything's kind of compartmentalized time-wise. So it helps me to sort of, I'm focused on school during periods 1, 2, 3, and 5, Renaissance during 4th, and then soccer during 6th. It is difficult. I have to juggle my time. I have to schedule things out. I have to make sure that I know due dates and when things are done and all that. So it's really just about time management and compartmentalizing, making sure I'm thinking about the right thing at the right time. I'm not thinking about soccer when I should be teaching. I'm not thinking about Renaissance when I'm coaching soccer and so on.
It's a good thing you don't procrastinate.
Yeah, no, you can't really procrastinate when you're a teacher, otherwise, last minute.
Is there anything you like most about each job?
I think with teaching, it's just the interaction with the students and watching them get excited about material that I'm passionate about. When you're a teacher, that's the best thing, is when I know I love something about government or about history, when I can get my students excited about it. It doesn't happen every day. A lot of times there's things that students just aren't interested in, and that's understandable, but when you can get that across to them teaching, that's great. As far as Renaissance goes, I love watching the kids do these things for others. In Renaissance, it's a very selfless position. They're constantly giving of themselves to the community and to the school, and giving up their free time and staying late and doing all that. And it's just really nice to see teenagers who, I think oftentimes we look down on teenagers and think, oh, they're lazy and all they care about is, hanging out with their friends and all that. But here's a group of kids who have really given of themselves to give back, and that's good to see. And then soccer, I just love watching my girls interact with each other and bonding as a team and watching them kind of form sisterhood and doing all that. And then the competitiveness of it, just, I was an athlete my whole life, so I kind of thrive on that competitive aspect. And I can't really play anymore, so coaching it is the next best thing. It's just a lot of fun to go out there and compete, watch them battle.
So I could tell that you like all 3 of your roles at this school, but if you had to choose, which one is your favorite and why?
I would say it's probably soccer, just because of the competitive aspect. There's not a lot of competition ingrained in Renaissance or the classroom. In the classroom, we're trying to get everybody to succeed, and in Renaissance, we're trying to work to help everybody. But there's something about the competitive nature of soccer, sports in general, that kind of gets me going. That I really enjoy going out there and trying to create a group and have them work to defeat another team. There's just something about that kind of gets me going. It's a place where I can let out my frustrations on the field and really coach them up hard and get them going towards their goal. And so that's definitely my favorite.
Is it possible we will see a merger between ASB and Renaissance? Because it'd be nicer to just have one.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be a nice thing to do. There's so much overlap between the 2 groups that at times we kind of trip over each other, and that's not always a bad thing. At times we work together on things, but I think there is a lot of redundancy that occurs between the 2 groups. And I know there's a lot of schools that do have what's called a USB, a United Student Body. The model that Ayala has that I've seen is USB, where they have ASB, and within ASB is a group of Renaissance members. That's their focus every day, is doing those things. And I think that would definitely be something that would help streamline the process here. There's definitely 2 completely different focuses of the 2 groups. ASB is activities, Renaissance is more recognition, academic recognition. But they could work very well together. I think it would save us money. I think it would save us time. So I hope that someday we can merge, and if not merge, then at least find a way to sort of streamline the process and work together a little bit better. Mr. Garcia and Mr. Harrington have done a really good job of working with me and trying to get us working in the same direction. We meet most Mondays to talk about what we have going on, so we try to do that, but it can always improve.
Describe the ideal Renaissance student.
The ideal Renaissance student is one that, like I've been saying, is very generous with their time, is dedicated to what we want to accomplish. It's hard work. Renaissance is hard work. There's a lot of time and effort that you have to put into it. Things get in the way. These students that are in Renaissance tend to be very involved in other things. They're involved in sports, they're involved in clubs on campus, they're involved in activities outside of campus, they're in band, they're in choir, they're in drama, they're in all kinds of different things. And so there's constant conflicts of schedule. But the ideal Renaissance student is one that can prioritize their time and schedule it out so that they can fully commit to what they've taken on. Like I said, Renaissance is a huge time commitment, and they work hard, they have fun, we have a lot of fun, and they just really are passionate about recognizing and helping other people.
That's good, because I'm not in a sport or Renaissance, and I might have a bit of trouble managing my time.
Yeah, it's definitely tough.
Yeah. Is there anything that motivates you to dedicate so much time and effort here?
I think I had a really good experience in high school. I think most high school teachers had a good high school experience. And that's why we've chosen to come back. Maybe not all, but I would guess most. If you had a miserable high school existence, why would you want to come back here as an adult? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think most high school teachers had a good experience. I had an experience in high school where there were a lot of adults who did a lot of good things for me. I had coaches and advisors and administrators and teachers who really dedicated their time to making students' lives better. And so I just see that as part of my responsibility as a teacher. I could never be the teacher that shows up first period and leaves at the end of sixth. I understand there are teachers who do that, and I'm not putting them down in any way. Just for me personally, I couldn't do that. And I say that now, maybe when I have kids, I'll feel differently about it. That's a huge possibility because I'll have more responsibilities at home. But for me, I love being here. I love being around kids. I like interacting with them. And so the more things I can be involved in, the more interactions I get to have with students. Sometimes in the classroom, our interactions can have to be negative. They have to be disciplinarians. And kids don't necessarily enjoy all of our interactions when we're teachers. But when you get to be involved in things like Renaissance and sports, they're much more positive interactions. You're seeing kids smile a lot more. You're seeing kids achieve a lot more. And that's fun.
You said you had a good high school experience.
Yeah.
Did you give us like one example?
Well, like I said, I was an athlete my whole life, so I played multiple sports in high school. I was involved in yearbook and choir. And it's just, I was involved in a lot of things, and I had a lot of very positive interactions with adults, and I saw the impact that they had in my life. The people who inspired me to become a teacher. My father was my high school principal, so I saw him every day at school, and that could have been traumatic, but it was great, My dad's a great guy. He was an amazing administrator. People liked him, and so that was a good thing for me. At the same time, being in sports was huge for me. Great coaches, people who worked hard and showed me what it meant to dedicate your time and do those things. I won a CIF championship my senior year in football. We went undefeated, and just understanding what that commitment meant and understanding what it took to succeed at that level and feeling that accomplishment of getting a ring and winning a CIF title. It's just, there's nothing like it. So those were some of the experiences I had in high school.
So you seem to be a very proactive teacher. We have a lot of new teachers here at Los Altos, and what advice would you give to those new teachers?
Get involved, like I've been saying. the more things you can get involved in here, the more the students will relate to you, the more they'll trust you. I know it's hard being a new teacher because you're focused on the teaching, and you need a lesson plan, and you need to grade, and you need to learn how to balance your schedule. But I would say just jump in the deep end. Just get involved. If you have the ability, coach a sport. Be an advisor of a club. Little things. Walk out during lunch just to visit with the kids. Things that get you involved in the students' lives outside of the classroom. Because I think at times students see us in the classroom as just a piece of this room. We're just, like the projector or the computer. Like we're just stuck in this room all the time, and that's how they see us. And when you get out of the classroom, the students see you in a completely different light, and they will relate to you better. And what I found is the students who understand you and relate to you outside of the classroom tend to be more attentive to you in the classroom. So I think it definitely helps.
Yeah, that sounds like what the new teacher, Mr. Fidel, is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I admire, and we have a lot of really good young teachers on this campus who have gotten involved in a lot of things. I know, like Coach Sutherland, who coached with me in soccer. She was involved. She's coaching 3 sports. She was involved with volleyball. She coached with me in soccer, and now she's helping out with track. And she's interacting with so many students who are getting to know her. And then you see like Mr. Hindell, like you were saying, starting up a new club, and the way he interacts with the students outside of his classroom and in his classroom, opening their eyes to a different way of thinking about their bodies and nature and all that kind of stuff is. I think it's cool, and those are good things. Students tend to get single-minded and a narrow focus, and when you're a teenager is when I think you should be opening your eyes the most to what's going on.
So you seem to love teaching a lot. And in 10 years, do you think you'll still be teaching, or will you pursue another dream?
No, I think I'll definitely be teaching. I never intended to be a teacher to begin with. I wanted to be a lawyer, actually, when I first got into college, and that's what I was studying for. But I kind of saw the reality of being a lawyer, and it was too much for me. I knew I wouldn't be able to be passionate about that. I would just lose it. And my father was a teacher. My mom was a teacher. I had a lot of teachers in the family, and I had a lot of connections in the Hacienda La Puente Unified School District. So I decided this would be a nice little thing to try for a while, and I fell in love with it. And I love teaching. I can't imagine there being a better job for me than this. I get to interact with kids all day long, which I enjoy doing. Unless something completely unforeseen comes up that changes my life in some way, I don't envision myself doing anything but teaching for the rest of my life.
Okay. Well, I guess that concludes our interview. Thank you, Mr. Wiener.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks.